Well, I am Jennifer Winge. I'm an executive search consultant here at Vanderbloemen, and I have the privilege today to get to spend a little time on Zoom with some people I have met along the way that now I consider friends, because we met through some God pieces and God experiences, and we just got to see God in our search together and wanted to just share that. So today I am with Mike Towner, who is the lead pastor of North Parkersburg Baptist Church in Parkersburg, West Virginia, and John Wright, who is the executive pastor. So Mike, you and I met quite a few years ago when we started doing a worship search, correct?
Yes. Yep.
Yes. Yes. So got to get to know you guys, got to get to know the church. And when we first connected, you guys had a leadership structure that was kind of a trilogy. So you had a team, really a team aspect. That transitioned, you went from teaching pastor into that lead role. And I remember the phone call I got from you that said, hey, guess what? We just changed our leadership structure and I need an executive pastor, like yesterday, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So talk me through that a little bit, because the thing we didn't know at that point was that we were getting ready to hit a pandemic. So that was what, early 2020, correct?
Yeah, that would be October 2020. Is that right? That's the right year, or 2019?
2019, probably when we started
Yep. So contacted you guys then, October 2019, and said, we definitely need an executive pastor to move forward from where we are. We want to take some kingdom ground, and that's what we need. So help me out again, Jennifer. I need you. So came knocking. Yep.
Yeah. So, we jumped in like a normal search, got to come out, spend some time with our recruiter actually got to come along too, which was back in the days when we could easily travel and go all these places. So we, start the process. It starts to be time for presentation, and we're hearing about this pandemic, but the world hasn't changed yet. So presented candidates to you guys, you're narrowing them down, and then March happens.
Yes.
So tell us, and then we're going to hear from John, his side of this equation. So tell us a little bit about, because we did this 100% virtual on the interview, hire, the whole process. Because when was the first time you and John met in person?
It was the end of June. Was that the first time we met?
It was December. It was on LinkedIn.
In person, face to face.
Yes. Yep.
It would have been.
And I was a lot shorter than you. We found out. So.
But yeah, so we started the process in November. If I back it up even a little bit for us, Jennifer, one of the things that you had us do is to make a candidate video, which I don't relish the idea of standing in front of a camera and talking to it, which by now I'm more of an expert because of COVID. But at the time, I hadn't done much of that. And, okay, I'll do this, but, it's not my favorite part of this process. And we did the video, and it got posted. And we get to our candidate presentation that you did, and we started vetting those candidates and calling them and working with them. And this guy, John Wright, had seen the video, and that is what really connected with him, was the video itself. And we got a hold of his resume and information and began going through that process of getting to know and interview. And it was a complete Zoom ordeal, never being in the same room with the guy, going through a lot of interviews to get different feedback, because it's so one-dimensional over Zoom, to try to get other perspectives and insights and buy-in from everybody before we could take a step forward, and trying to figure out, do we wait till the pandemic's over to go the next step with this guy, or what do we do? next. And it was a complete God thing where God was leading him, calling him, directing him, in some respects supernaturally that, just didn't make sense to us naturally. And even on our end, just the conversations and where it ended, and finally coming to a point where here we are in the middle of a pandemic, and we're talking about what do we do next, and his words are, well, God basically told me to come. So I know we haven't met, I've never been there, never set foot in any, but I'm supposed to be there. And I said, I think you are too. So what do we do? I can hire you, but you can't show up. So what do we do? So it was an incredible process to do it all that way, but it was definitely a God thing, the way it all came together. So
yeah. So John, you are on the absolute other side of the country, so not like a state or two away. Never been there. How did you navigate that with your family? And we all go into something. I mean, life was in such an uproar in general then, and you're making a huge life decision change for you and your family. So kind of talk through that a little bit with me.
Well, it went through, we did a lot of prayer over this, but I did see the video that Pastor Mike posted, and there was just something about the video I just kept on. I couldn't get away from it. And so the impression that I got from what Pastor Mike said was that it's a place where Jesus would hang out, with just all the ministries here happening at North Maternity House, Friendship Kitchen, all of the different ministries that were happening just really resonated with me, and it just started pulling. Not overnight, but it was I think, Mike, it was like a 3-month process. So I do know that it came to a Saturday, and I just felt that I had to apply. I couldn't hold off any longer because the window was shutting. And God allowed me the opportunity to, apply. And God just opened up the doors in so many ways, where went through the interview process. And it was one of those things where I knew that I was following God, but I didn't really think it would happen. So basically, I said, okay, God, I'll do this. I'll just appease you. But then interview after interview after interview, it kept on going. And I remember very distinctly talking to my wife. We were walking in a park near Seattle, and I said, what if this thing actually happens? What are we going to do? And then that's where God started speeding things up, and there was just no red flags, among the interviews, which I was thinking, okay, that's incredible. Yeah. And so Marcia, Anya, and I had booked tickets to fly out to visit Pastor Mike and maybe look for a home. Well, that's when COVID was hitting, and all of the flights were canceled. So we didn't even get a chance to, come to Parkersburg. We bought a house sight unseen. There was a lot of, God moments in that story. But it was just one of those things where it was a step of faith. I knew that I didn't have to have the answer. God had the answer. And so I just had to be faithful, in what he was calling our family to do. And I married a former missionary, pastor's kid. So she was with me 100%, which is always good. So we just kind of came to Parkersburg sight unseen, and God's just been showing up on a daily basis. So we're just grateful for that.
Yeah. Well, it's so exciting because it's been like right at a year, I think, where everything was said and done officially, but of course you didn't show up till the summer.
Yeah.
In your new house that you got to see for the first time.
That's true. And Pastor Mike was kind enough to check out the house for me, and just kind of give me a little understanding of what we were getting ourselves into.
Yeah. Well, it was so neat on our end, just because all the churches we were working with were trying to navigate this, and we were trying to help them, and nobody had done this before, where some churches said, hey, let's put the brakes on it and kind of see where this plays out, so they took a little bit of a pause and then jumped back in. And it was so exciting to just kind of watch you guys just trust the Lord in the midst of everything. And, we always say that so much of we do, like, yes, it's a process and, we go through a process and all of that, but there's this beautiful ministry aspect that is so wonderful to just be reminded of, that, man makes plans, right? But the Lord, his plans, and just a reminder of that. And that, he's that God that puts people together from coast to coast, lets them navigate through a pandemic. And you guys are still enjoying each other. And I mean, you're not in the same room right now, which I'm a little concerned about. No.
He's right next door.
Okay. Yep. Okay. But really, to be a year in and, just to see the hand of God in that. And so just want to tell you guys, thank you. Thank you for being faithful and being obedient to the Lord in that, and for letting us be part of that process and for sharing your story today.
Absolutely. And thank you, Jennifer, for all of your help along the way, your coaching, your support, hey, can I talk for a couple minutes about this? Absolutely. Wait, let me get out of this meeting. I'll call you right back. Always being available. You are a huge support and a huge help in navigating and moving forward. So thank you and Vanderbloemen just in general for everything that you guys did along the way. Couldn't have done it without you. So,
well, it was absolutely our pleasure to be able to partner with you guys and see what God did through it.
Yeah, it's been